These are the 6 biggest mistakes that will delay an avoidant ex regretting losing you. The first is staying emotionally available to them. What this essentially is that you are having some type of emotional reaction to either them reaching out to you or them meeting you in person, and you're expressing that emotion to them in that way. What this essentially does is that this is giving them some type of insight that you have some kind of connection to them, right? You may not be realizing this. You may just be honestly reacting to whatever they're telling you, but this again to the avoidant is them trying to test the waters, right? They're trying to kind of pull on your heartstrings and see if you have some type of emotional reaction, because that sends a signal to them that they have you hooked in some way or some form, which makes them feel that no matter what happens, you are going to always be there for them. So they don't ever really consider the actual reality that you could simply just move on and they could lose out on you, which will inevitably cause them to delay regretting losing you because they feel like you are available to them. Number 2 is breaking no contact too soon. Now, this tends to be done on a level where you are not really realizing it, right? They may reach out to you and say something that might be urgent or out of the blue, and you may just out of the kindness of your heart want to respond. It could be a birthday message, whatever it might be. When you break that no contact, this again is showing them that you are available in some way or some form. In fact, they look at that as a sign that you are just waiting around for them to reach out to you and that you are not really moving on. They really are kind of playing a game of chicken here where they can continue to be an avoidant and just not really take things seriously here and not address the things that need to be addressed for you guys to potentially work things out, and they just do whatever they want. So when they actually reach out to you and you respond, this to them is a huge sign that they can continue to be an avoidant and feel confident that you are going to always be there. Number 3 is posting on social media to make them jealous. This again is another sign that they're taking that they have you wrapped around their finger. The reason why is because you are expressing some type of emotion that shows that you are still connected to them in some way or some form. So in their minds, they believe that you're not going to go out and find somebody else or move on because you are still caught up in the relationship and essentially want to try to make it work. And while other people may look at this and actually want to reach out to their partner to say, hey, like, what is going on? Like, I don't like what I'm seeing. Like, those type of things that might spark somebody to want to actually do something because they're afraid of losing you. The avoidant doesn't do that, right? Again, they're not looking at this in the same kind of lens as that. They're looking at it as, oh, this person still has some type of connection. I'm not going to essentially pursue them and try to, see if I can make this work out, or essentially regretting losing you, right? They're not going to see it that way. If anything, they're going to look at it as more of a sign as to why they are justified for being an avoidant and pulling away. So the more that you do that, it is inevitably only going to make things worse, and it will essentially delay them regretting losing you. Number 4 is responding to their breadcrumbs. Now, this is kind of what we talked about earlier, but it's still kind of important to go over here, and that you can be so susceptible to those little breadcrumbs that don't seem like they're anything, and they seem like maybe you can kind of entertain them for a little bit or respond to a text message. But again, this is their way to kind of test the waters. They want to see whether or not you are connected in some way or some form. Even if you don't have any type of emotion behind it, they will distort it and feel like that is a sign of that. And that essentially causes them to not have any type of regret because they are again looking at this as a way that you are communicating to them that you are just waiting around for them and they don't have to worry about you moving on. Which leads perfectly into number 5, and that is you letting them keep one foot in the door and the other out. This tends to be a lot of what people are going through when they're going through a breakup with an avoidant, right? There's a part of you that still wants to make things work out. You still want to have hope that you guys are going to be able to deal with the conflicts that you have been happening, which is the avoidant attachment style, and be able to get to a place where you can love each other again and just have a healthy relationship. But what you are essentially doing here is that you are continuously holding on to this hope and allowing this person to have one foot in and one foot out, which is perfect for what an avoidant wants, right? They thrive in this type of environment. They want to essentially have things be that way because this allows them to not have to open up or express things the way that they want, right? The moment that things get too real for them or you're getting vulnerable with them, they are going to pull away, and they feel like they can do that because they know that you are allowing them to keep one foot in the door. And this looks different for each person in regards to how they're allowing their avoidant to do this, but you essentially know what that looks like, right? It could be you maybe picking them up and you guys going for a drive around and, hanging out here and there as friends, but this is them taking advantage of where you're at in this emotional state. You are vulnerable and you are dealing with conflicting emotions, so you are going to essentially fall for these things, and it's not against you, right? Everyone goes through this in some way or some form, but you have to be aware of this and you have to stay strong and understand that this is only going to cause this person to feel confident to stay in avoidant and not consider losing you, which would cause them to regret that. And number 6 is that you are hoping that they will regret everything on your timeline. I know that you've probably heard a bunch of different people telling you a timeline of how this is going to happen. Even myself, I do give you a rough estimate, but that is what this is. It's an estimate. You don't know if they're ever going to get to a place where they will admit that they regret losing you, because that is essentially what this avoidant attachment style does, right? It causes them to want to have this fortress and believe that this way of being is the right way to be because they've had to, right? They had to at a young age adopt this way of being, and they've carried it into adulthood. So you could see someone who is an avoidant never express regret to their other partner and just simply move on and continue to be an avoidant. And this is very hard to stomach, I know, for you, because I know that you are wanting to see them regret things because that will give you some chance to maybe get them to try to come back to you and you guys actually make some steps towards healing and being able to have a relationship that's healthy again without this avoidant attachment style. But this is going to take a lot more than just that, right? They are really going to have to look inward in themselves and figure out why they are this way and actually seek some professional help to work through this. All of this is going to take some time, and that is even if they ever get to that place. And this is why I say it is so important for you to not stick around and hope for this person to ever experience any regret, because you are never going to be able to control that. They are the only person that will ever get themselves to feel that way, and it's so important for you to figure out what you need to do to best move on from this, because that is the best thing here. You only can control yourself. That's it. And you need to figure out what that looks like for you, because if you don't and you continue to wait around for this person, it is only going to lead to you being more disappointed when they don't show any type of remorse or regret for losing the best thing that ever happened to them, and that is you. I hope that you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.